Good evening from Gorgie. We're in the capital tonight, just 24 hours ahead of the Hogmanay celebrations. Edinburgh is gearing up for a party, and here at Tynecastle the Hearts fans are hoping the fireworks start early as they play a crucial match against the team just above them in the table. Aberdeen are the visitors. The gap between these two is just 3 points. If the Jambos win tonight, they will go into the winter break ahead of Aberdeen in the standings, but both teams will no doubt be looking up the table and will sense an opportunity to close in on Rangers, who take on Celtic tomorrow. That's one of 5 Saturday fixtures. There are a few derbies in the card. In Lanarkshire, Hamilton hosts Motherwell. In the Highlands, it's Ross County v Inverness. On Tayside, Dundee play St Johnstone, and Killie could do with the result in Glasgow against Partick Thistle. What a weekend this is, and what a way this is to kick things off. It's a sellout here tonight, and there's a man in maroon next to me, Michael Stewart, former Jambos captain. Did you think you were on the bench tonight? Just a nice festive colour, Darryl.
That would have been a worry, Darryl, wouldn't it? It would have been.
A bit of go, Michael, no.
Stephen Craigan and Chris Sutton are here as well. It's a massive night, this, isn't it? Not just for Ian Cathro, again, looking for back-to-back wins, but in the race for Europe.
Yeah, it is. You know, obviously it's going to be a tight race for Europe, and I think it'll go right down to the wire for that second spot in the league. But also just what you've touched on there, Ian Cathro's got his first victory, a massive win, but it's really important to follow up with a good result, and then you've got that winter break and a tough start when they come back to the league fixtures as well.
Crucial win it was midweek, but it came at a cost. Callum Patterson, the joint top scorer at the club, actually opened the scoring that night, but out with a knee injury for up to 10 months, and he arrived on crutches here tonight. We wish him all the very best, of course, but it's a blow.
First and foremost, your thoughts are with him. You know, probably in the best form of his life. You know, been linked with a move away from the club, so it seems very, you know, there's not a lot in it, but sometimes that's what happens that you need.
It is.
Innocuous tackle, you know, but huge blow for him, as I say, potentially moving away, but for Hearts and how they play, what he brings to the side, the attacking threat that he has, huge blow tonight, particularly with Johnny Hayes on this left-hand side for Aberdeen. He's their best player, so a big night for Liam Smith.
Innocuous?
Pardon?
Innocuous?
Yep.
It's bad news, isn't it? But I wonder what it means for Patterson and this club in the future. Has he played his last game? He's out of contract. Or, as a result of that injury, could Hearts now offer him a long-term extension, which he might be tempted to sign?
I think that would be the right thing to do. He's been a great servant for Hearts. He's a top young player. You know, we just all hope he recovers quickly. And, you know, they're losing a massive player, Hearts are tonight, and it could be a key area, that right full-back area, Michael.
I think it will be. I would be astonished if the club don't offer him a new deal or look after him in some way. They have Liam Smith to come in and play right back, who is probably better defensively than Callum Patterson. He's not a bad replacement. He's going to get his chance to break into the side now, so it's something to look forward to for him. Going back to Callum Patterson, devastating for him, because as Stephen said, form of his life, top goal scorer. We looked as if it was the perfect time for him to go and get a move. And
Hearts have made 2 changes to the starting 11 tonight. Liam Smith, as you say, is in for Patterson. Don Cowie is back as well after illness and injury. Prince Boabin drops out, though he's got a calf injury. As for Aberdeen, it's the same team in the last 2 games now, so of the summer signings, it's just Joe Lewis in there. He's gone back to what he knows, maybe.
I think Derek has tried to find a formula this year that has been different than last season. I think he's looked for something a little bit different within his players. Wes Burns with a little bit of pace, Stockley something different to Adam Rooney. He's realised it hasn't worked as much as what he would have hoped. He's went back to the players he's trusted. He's went back to the mature players who can deal with games and handle games.
Even Maddison on the bench again.
Yeah, but Maddison came on and changed the game. They have that option. I like the fact that Derek has gone for Rooney. I think Rooney is, it's the best goal scorer at Aberdeen. Even the goal he scored the other night at Hamilton, people will just say it's a tap in. He is on the move. He is a front foot striker, Michael.
We now know what a front foot striker means. But the thing I find interesting for Aberdeen is that Derek McInnes likes to tinker with his side. We know that. And for me, the real crux of the matter and the problem for Aberdeen is when Ryan Jack's come back to fitness, it's upset the balance of the side, and he's tried to fit a lot of players in out of position. Maddison's now been the one that's been sacrificed to find this formation.
Good news isn't Maddison, by the way. He will be staying till the end of the season. That loan has been extended. Right, time to hear from the new Hearts head coach, Ian Cathro, at length. He's been in the headlines since day one here, so Chris Sutton went along this week to meet the new man in charge.
Ian, I'm surprised to see you here without a laptop.
Right, okay.
So you've been in the job just over 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What have you made of it all?
First of all, just everything that I expected it to be. I know that there's been a lot of noise. I must admit, I probably did expect a reaction of that sort of type. There wasn't a lot of news going on at the time. It was an interesting story, and there's comment and then regurgitated comment and these sorts of things. But I truly have to say that I'm very good at not noticing the things that aren't important.
Chris Boyd's comments, any justification? He's questioned your ability to handle players because of your age. Is that fair?
Well, it's misinformed, of course, but it's an opinion, and as we know...
How did he form that opinion, though?
The period of time when I was doing that course at the same time as Chris was I was in Valencia at the time, so it was actually I found it quite difficult to get back and be there for the full duration of it all. So I'm not sure the guys would love me saying this, but I probably spent a little bit of time on the course doing the work as well, because you know I'm on the course, but you know I had a job. We had games to play. You have breaks on these sorts of courses, and maybe I was sitting with a laptop preparing the video, preparing the training session for us next game, which may have been against Atletico, Real or Barcelona. You know, I had a job to do. Noise will come here and there throughout the duration of your career, and it'll disappear. And I must say, and it may be difficult to believe in some quarters, but truly, nothing rocks me.
Do you think you've been unfairly portrayed by some sections of the media? For example, people talking about you being a pioneer. You've never said that yourself.
No, I must tell you, it's one of the things that I've been most uncomfortable with. At no point have I ever described myself as any of these words which have been used. I have never made any attempt to portray myself as anything, really. The only message that has ever come from me is that I'm somebody who loves football, and you know, the actual game is the bit that I love, and is focused on the work.
So you've done the hard yards. You're ready for the job, or would you have preferred to coach longer?
No, that wouldn't have fitted with my personality. I think this is another bit that the only people who know you really know this side of things, that it's harder for me to be an assistant than it is to lead. What's natural to me has always been to lead, to step up and have responsibility. If something goes wrong, I want it to be my fault.
What are your hopes this season from this team?
To improve constantly, and I mean that.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, for a couple of reasons, not in Scotland. If there's one thing I want to do in my life again is to work abroad. I would be interested in that if we're talking about 10 years down the line. Anything that we're talking about 3-4 years, then I'd like all that to be in Edinburgh.
Ian, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Thanks, Ian.
Cheers.
He certainly looks like a very confident young man, doesn't he? What was he like in that one-on-one scenario, Chris?
Well, first things, Darryl, it has been an absolute scandal, you know, some of the stuff said about Ian Castro, and it has. People have judged him unfairly and with no knowledge of what he's like. I got to meet him, and I've heard him speak in press conference at times, and I felt he's been a little bit nervous. He was open, he was honest, he was intelligent, he was frank. He's not part of the old boys players network, Darryl. That's what he's not part. You know, he went on a coaching course and he was studious. He actually said he did the work, inferring other people.
He was on the fight back there.
And he was, and he's quite right. Chris, we should be commending people like him. A young man who, just hold on, Michael, a young man who hasn't played the game, but actually has enough guts about him to do the hard yards and then put himself forward to coach and now manage. Fair play to him, and let's judge him on the job he does.
He will be judged on the results, but I was just going to say, look, I have commended the club. I think it's good to look outside and think the way they have. He will be judged on the results that he gets. But also, do you not think it's a valid argument, though, that some people have dealt with him have questioned whether he has that communicative skill?
Chris Boyd quite because he didn't go for a drink in the evening on the SFA course?
Forget about the actual words that came out. I'm saying, do you not think it is a valid argument to be had to say, does he have the communicative skills?
He's done the hard yards. You know, he said that.
Anybody's questioned that, though. I don't think anybody's questioned that.
I'm just saying that's a valid argument.
He actually, Ian Castro basically spoke out and said that at no stage has he promoted himself, and that's continually what I've said. At times, you know, what I've commented on, people have misinterpreted, like I'm having a go at him.
He said he's ignored that, though.
Exactly, but I was just having a go at the hysteria surrounding him, the pressure he's been put under, like he's something different when he's completely not.
Didn't come across that way, Stephen.
Well, exactly was that. Sorry, you obviously weren't listening. You have an agenda you want to speak about, and that's what you've done.
I think you
sometimes you have to listen to what people are saying instead of interrupting.
I think you're just bailing out there, Stephen, aren't you?
That's the easy answer to say.
Well, look, ultimately, what's going to happen here is that he's in the job. See, having not played the game, that is irrelevant, because you could be a top player, like Chris was. He walked into the changing room, didn't manage particularly well, and he didn't continue doing it. Now, in all seriousness, though, your managerial career doesn't count if you've been a top player. It doesn't count. You go in there and you've got to show that you know how to manage and coach. And if this guy has got the ability to do that, then it will be shown out in the park with results, and he'll have a very successful career.
Who needs Hogmanay? Thanks for coming. I think he's just sent you home.
Well, Michael, I've no knowledge of my management career, and Michael, who played less than 200 games.
Right, okay, anyway, he's about to leave. Good news for you, and we're about to concentrate on the visitors next. Aberdeen haven't beaten Hearts for over a year, you know, and the Jambos have won 3 of the last 4 meetings. If that trend continues, it will be a very happy new year in this part of the capital.
I'll start, just whenever.
My name's Jack Hamilton, goalkeeper.
Don Suter, midfield.
John Cowie, centre back.
Just wish everyone a happy new year. He needs to do his first.
My New Year's resolution is to keep the ball at the back of the net.
My New Year's resolution is to stop dressing like Tony.
My New Year's resolution is to adopt this character here.
Happy New Year, everyone. At Hearts. From Hearts. No, that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't, does it?
But what acting?
Hey, my name's Connor Salmon, striker.
Happy New
Wish everyone a happy New Year.
At Hearts.
Happy New Year. Every day at Hearts.
My New Year's resolution is to score more goals.
Don't do anything wrong, someone needs to change that.
My New Year's resolution is to grow my own hair again.
Happy New Year, everyone from Hearts.
Happy New Year, kids.
Do we need to start the whole thing again?
Chris Sutton has indeed left us for now. He's doing the hard yards there in front of the Aberdeen fans. Got a hard time. Here he is, thinking he's getting a round of applause. Little salute to them, yeah. Oh, and then he's realised it's the Aberdeen team walking over to his fans. On you go, Chris. We'll hear from him in another 15 minutes or so during the match. But here's some team news for you. Liam Smith starts at right back for Hearts tonight. 2 changes for them, of course. Patterson is out injured, and Don Cowie comes back in as well after illness and injury. Prince Boabin misses out with a calf problem. As for Aberdeen, it's the same again. So of the summer signings, only Joe Lewis starts. He's been a revelation so far in goal this year. And Niall McGinn also plays again. He's got 2 goals in his last 3 games. Derek McInnes has been consistent in his team selection. He's desperate to see out another eventful year for the Dons in style.
2016 dawned with a title race in full swing. Aberdeen Hearts racing, the gap now down to just 3 points. Goals galore in Perth, 7 in total. Aberdeen edging it to move joint top. A night in the Highlands, the rhythm interrupted. A first league defeat of the year. Celtic 3 points clear.
Well, Ash Taylor, not his proudest moment. A significant spoke placed in Aberdeen's title push.
A showdown at Tynecastle, win and close the gap to just 2 points. To lose, unthinkable.
Aberdeen's title push is drowning in an ocean of maroon.
But 2016 marched on, with it European football, new faces and expectations. The European adventure cruelly cut short in a tale of 2 goalkeepers. Maribor's lucky to stay on the pitch to save the penalty. Joe Lewis with a calamitous error at the other end. Old rival Celtic demonstrated early that Aberdeen's fight this season would be for second place. Madison, the hero when Rangers came to town, but the cup was where Aberdeen Hearts would race fastest.
Right at the net. It's Kenny McLean. Aberdeen will return to Hampden. Tom Roggins for Celtic. Magnificent. What a goal by James Forrest. And Celtic, the better side. side on the day.
The race for second saw a different Glasgow rival surging ahead. It's been a stuttering season so far, but showing signs of life.
And Shinnie for Aberdeen! Niall McGinn, cracking goal to finish it off.
2 wins on the bounce. Will Aberdeen Hearts beat again as the race for second gallops into the new year?
Well, Derek, your team are making it easy for you. They keep winning and you keep going with the same starting 11.
Yeah, I think the last 2 performances have been pleased. Obviously 2 different games and 2 different challenges, but I think the level of performance individually has been good. So, you know, we go with the same experienced team. I felt that the team that won at Motherwell last week, very experienced as we spoke about, and had this team in mind for tonight. Where we deliberated was for the Hamilton game, where we made a couple of changes, but we stuck by that team, and we've had 2 wins now in the last 2 games, so we want to try and make it 3 wins in a row. And I think any time you get an opportunity to do that in the league, it's important to try and take it. And you know, it's tough tonight, but we plan to make it tough for Hearts as well.
We know that there's big expectations on you and on your team and on Aberdeen this season. How vital are games like tonight in achieving those goals you've set out for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same 3 points, but you know, you're right to say, I think you know, every game's important, but when you play teams in and around yourself, or the teams that you think are going to be in and around you, and Hearts will certainly be one of them, you know, it's important that those games have that added significance, you know, because you not only gain the 3 points if you win the game, but you can also inflict some damage on your opponents round about in the league. So I think any time you play against teams, there's always that wee bit more on it. But you know, it's there's loads of points to be played for after this. But I think because we don't play a league game for another month now, it'd be nice to try and finish off 2016 with 3 points. Hearts will be saying the exact same thing. I think there's good respect between both clubs. I think there's a lot of good players on the pitch tonight in both teams. Hopefully my players can bring that level of performance that helps us win the game.
All the best, Derek. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks,
It's a very big game this for Derek McInnes and for Aberdeen as well in the race for Europe. We're down to 3 in the studio now, so 1 microphone might be about to be retired.
Chris was visibly upset when he left the studio. He threw his mic down and discussed after Michael, quite rightly, dug up his past record as a manager.
We'll get rid of him.
Thank you.
Finally. Anyway, let's talk about the Aberdeen team, because some big performers this season, maybe none more than this man, Joe Lewis in goal. We said of all the outfield 11, he's the summer signing that plays again tonight. What a performer.
Yeah, he's undoubtedly been the top signing for Aberdeen. I think he's been the top signing for the league as a whole. He's been a real consistent player. I mean, look at this. This is a wonderful save in the top corner. And I think, you know, crucial points in crucial games, he's kept Aberdeen in touch. And if you look at the back end of last season, it was a position they were really struggling in. They had to fill it, and this guy has more than done that.
And I'll tell you what's made it even more impressive. Derek McInnes hasn't had a settled back 4. And you know, that upsets the rhythm of the team, which means he's more to do. Mark Reynolds has been in, O'Connor's been in, Ash Taylor's been in. That hasn't been settled, so for his form to be maintained, terrific.
Elsewhere, Graham Shinnie is in midfield again tonight, and I know you've been saying in recent weeks to me he can make the difference in there.
It's because of his energy.
Yeah.
You know, when you have Ryan Jack, who doesn't cover the grass greatly, Kenny McLean, who wants to be more of a ball player, you need a driving force from the middle of the pitch. You need energy, you need enthusiasm, you need someone to get up and touch and get in support. That's a terrific ball with his right foot. I know that's on the left hand side. He did play centre midfield that night, so with him in there, which is why I put him in my team of the season, because I think he gives him something a little bit different. And the fact that Derek McInnes continually puts him in the middle of the pitch, he also believes the same.
And he's in ahead of Madison again in there.
Yeah, I think it's you know, you can understand that in a game, you know, coming to Tynecastle away from home, you want to be a bit more solid in the middle of the park. It's understandable, but Stephen's totally spot on with his assessment. He's full of energy, driving forward from the middle of the park. I put him in the side, my team of the year at left back, just because I wanted him in the side. Centre midfield, I thought Armstrong and Brown, very good players, but I would suggest that at the moment as well, centre midfield is probably his best position.
OK, attention back on Hearts now. Here's our new head coach, Ian Cathro, with Ailey Barber.
Well, Ian, a couple of changes tonight. Obviously, Callum Patterson out. How big a loss is he?
It's a big loss. He's been one of the players who's probably always had an influence on the game for this team over a number of years now. So naturally, it's a big loss. But you know, we take each game as its own thing, and we feel good with what we've got tonight.
You got the monkey off your back in the last match in terms of your first win, but how big a match is this tonight up against one of your challengers for the top 4 places?
Yeah, it's an important game, it's an important match, it's a very big opportunity for us, and we hope to play well and we hope to win.
Thanks very much, Ian, all the best.
Cheers.
Ian Cathro is looking to make it back-to-back victories for his team. Aberdeen want to make it 3 in a row. It's a big match here at Tynecastle under the floodlights, and it's live with us on BT Sport next.